Determine the left-sided limit and the right-sided limit and the two-sided limit as x goes to 3 of negative 2x plus 6 over the absolute value of 3 minus x. Each of these limits involves the limit as x approaches 3 of negative 2x plus 6 over the absolute value of 3 minus x. The first thing to do is try plugging a 3 in for each of the x's. In the numerator, that'll give us negative 2 times 3 plus 6. In the denominator, that'll give us the absolute value of 3 minus 3. In the numerator, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6 plus 6 over the absolute value of 3 minus 3. And negative 6 plus 6 is a 0. And 3 minus 3 is a 0 in the absolute value. Since the limit results in a 0 within the absolute value, it is required that we work out each side of the limit separately. So we will now look at the left-sided limit, indicated by the negative superscript on the 3, and the right-sided limit, indicated by the positive superscript on the 3, of that same expression. Negative 2x plus 6 over the absolute value of 3 minus x. Let's start with the left-sided limit. The left side of 3 on the number line, or less positive than 3, like 2.99, plugged in for x here in the absolute value, 3 minus something less positive than 3, like 2.99, will be a positive number. Now the absolute value ensures that it stays positive. If it already is positive, it will not change it at all. So we can replace the absolute value with parentheses and a plus outside of it to not change the sign of what's inside there. At this point, we have the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. So what we will need to do is factor and cancel. Now in the numerator, we have a factor of 2 that can factor out, and that will leave us with negative x plus 3. And then we can write that in reverse order so it matches the denominator. And that'll give us 2 times 3 minus x over a positive 3 minus x. The 3 minus x's can cancel, leaving a 1 in the denominator. So we'll have 2 over a positive 1, which will give us a 2. Now for the right-sided limit, we're on the right side of 3 on the number line, or more positive than 3, like, say, 3.01. If we plug that in for x here in the absolute value, something more positive than 3, like 3.01, subtracted from 3 will give a negative number. Now the absolute value ensures that what comes out of there will be a positive number. If what goes in is a negative number, then the absolute value will make it positive by multiplying it by another negative. So we can put a negative in front of and replace the absolute value brackets with parentheses of the 3 minus x. We have the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. We can factor the numerator with a common factor of 2. And then again write it in reverse order in the numerator so that we can see a cancellation happen. Negative x plus 3 is the same as 3 minus x. And the 3 minus x factors can cancel to remove the 0 over 0 indeterminate form, and we end up with 2 over negative 1, which is negative 2. The two-sided limit is determined by comparing the results of the one-sided limits. Here they are. Comparing those to each other, they are not the same, and therefore the two-sided limit up here will will be does not exist. And there's the results for those three different limits.